Welcome to the Digital Production Buzz at the 2015 NAB Show. Hi, this is Larry Jordan, and this interview was recorded live on the trade show floor. For more information, visit digitalproductionbuzz.com. Autodesk helps people imagine, design, and create a better world. Everyone from design professionals to engineers, architects, digital artists, students, even hobbyists can and do use Autodesk products every day. Marcus Schioler is the Senior Industry Manager for Autodesk. Marcus, thanks for joining us today.
Nice to be here.
It's nice to hear phrases like helps people imagine, design, and create a better world, but it's pretty vague. What kind of products are people in video and post interested in from Autodesk as opposed to architects?
Well, I mean, when you think about it, pretty much everything that you see around us has been touched in some way or another by a customer at Autodesk from a design standpoint, whether it's buildings, bridges, infrastructure, consumer products, cars, and even video games and movies. So our products are used across all of these different segments by different types of professionals. In terms of film and TV, which is primarily what we're here at NAB talking about, we have a number of new releases. I think the products that people want to hear about at this show are Flame, Maya, and 3ds Max. We're introducing new releases of those this week.
Well, Flame has been a part of the post-production, especially the effects process, since the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. It's an amazing piece of work. What have you got that's new at the show?
So we're very excited with Flame. Flame, like you said, it's been around for a while, and I think what's really exciting about it is that we continue to innovate and drive new and interesting creative capabilities into a box that people use in very high pressure situations, very tight deadline turnaround, high-end commercial workflows, and I think providing them with new tools that allow them to do things that introduce creative possibilities that weren't there in the past is kind of always what we're trying to achieve.
Well, let me just interrupt you for a second. We see workflows like After Effects working with Premiere or Final Cut with its built-in and motion. Why would somebody go with Flame? Flame is not inexpensive. Why would somebody invest in the time to learn and to buy Flame? What do they get from it?
Well, they get a workflow that allows them to explore all sorts of different creative possibilities in an environment where there's often somebody who's involved in making these decisions with them. So it's very much about that interactive experience to show them ideas in a turnaround time that can be very short. Sometimes they just have a day to complete a project, and getting that intent across very quickly in a way that's as free form as possible, because they really are brainstorming a lot of the time. And the tool set basically is laid out in a way where people can jump between a compositing environment to a timeline to reels, where they essentially are able to brainstorm different ideas in a very seamless manner. So they never really have to make decisions about what kind of tool or workflow they want to use. They do it depending on what it is they need to deliver with their client. And the example of, I think, in the 2016 version, there's a new feature that's very interesting in that regard for something called look development. The tool is called Lightbox. And the idea here is when you think about a 3D compositing environment, a heavy VFX shot that combines 2D elements, lots of 2D elements, with 3D geometries that are laid out in space, these things have come in from different sources, different types of cameras, different types of renders, different types of CG material, and having them come together with a consistent look that meets the creative vision of the people that are making the content is something that they have to work through. And we call this process look development. And we're introducing this tool called Lightbox, which effectively, if you think about it, is like lights in a 3D space, but actually instead of lighting, they cast color correction. So for instance, you want to do a white balance, you place your light in space, directional light or point light or spotlight or whatever, shine it in the direction you want, and it does white balance on things depending on the fall off and where they lie in that space and whether they're affected by the light or not. So this kind of thing, there are other presets, lift, gamma, gain, bleach, bypass, those types of common color correction things, but they're happening with lights in a 3D space, which provides a great new creative way of doing things that people haven't seen before. So that's the kind of innovative creative tool we like to bring into the application, but we also have to be very mindful of performance. That high pressure deadline driven environment, the demands and performance and Flame has always been about having a very high performance box. We're trying to push more and more of that all the time. And so in this release, we're introducing some good new performance characteristics in terms of handling proxies for higher res workflows, 4K or Ultra HD, for instance, in terms of rendering out of the compositing environment and also in terms of exporting out of the box. So performance is important. for sure.
Well, is Flame the only upgraded software you've got here at the show?
No, we've got two others. So we've got Maya. There's a new version of Maya 2016, and a new version of 3ds Max 2016 that are also being announced at the show. So we have news there. And if I could go into Maya for a second, there's some pretty cool new stuff. Maya's a huge release, and I think I'll call out a couple of things because there's no way that we could list everything. But one example, for instance, is the animation performance has been really supercharged. So we see, for instance, performance gains in the vicinity of 2x to 5x in animation workflows, depending on how the use cases. Obviously, there are many different situations that would affect the actual performance, but the performance is really incredible. And this is something that we know people will be excited about because having a more fluid interactivity and playback in the viewport is something that animators will benefit from immediately. Another interesting addition is, so we have part of the application in Maya called Bifrost, which is a procedural liquid simulation tool. And with this version, we've introduced the ability to add greater realism to your liquid simulations with froth and bubbles and white water, those kinds of things, which are a very important part of a realistic liquid simulation. As well as a tool called Camera Adaptivity, which provides a means of focusing the processing power on parts that the camera actually sees, as opposed to other elements of the scene which are not part of the scene, or even things that are maybe farther away from the camera where the resolution doesn't need to be as high. There's more. Maybe I'll just switch over to 3ds Max for a second and make sure that we cover off a couple of things there. But
go ahead.
Again, 3ds Max, performance is very important. Collaboration is very important. Creativity is very important. I think we're very excited, for instance, to introduce a new procedural tool creation environment into 3ds Max called the Max Creation Graph. Basically allows people to build their own tools that they can use to modify the geometries and the work that they're doing in their modeling workflow. We're excited about it because the Max community has always been very involved in helping each other solve problems by extending the capabilities of the application. And now with this new Max Creation Graph, we think that they're able now to take it into a new level, package up these tools that they've created procedurally themselves into compounds and then share them with other users in the community. So all of these are available April 16th.
And that gets me to available where? What website can people go to learn more about the products?
So the place to go is area.autodesk.com. There's lots of additional information. There are videos that help people understand what the new features are about. And like I was saying, everything will be available on April 16th. That's
area.autodesk.com, and Marcus Schioler is the Senior Industry Manager at Autodesk. Marcus, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.